All right, everybody. We are getting started here with our first week 1 NFL picks. A little bit, this is a live stream. I never live stream, so I just want to make sure we're all good. But yeah, we're up and running. I'm super excited to be here and connect with you guys. And we're going to be talking about the NFL because obviously this is a Cowboys channel. We talk about the Cowboys all the time and, reacting, predicting, all that kind of stuff, which is fun. But I think outside of that, obviously we're big NFL fans, and so we can react and get excited and hype for a new NFL season because that's typically the case, right? Like when the Cowboys get bounced out of the playoffs, we have to start cheering for someone else, and we got to start watching something different. And so it's pretty good to be a football fan because then when the Cowboys get bounced, you're watching the playoffs just for fun. But that's right. So thanks again for joining in. And we're going to be here every Wednesday making our picks and talking about the NFL. And be sure to hit that like button and subscribe because it's going to be a lot of fun and just really short and sweet to hang out. And, as we keep going, obviously questions about the NFL or anything, whatever you guys want it to be, that'll be super fun. But let's go ahead and get on in. I'm super excited. Tomorrow we have the pregame prediction video dropping for the Cowboys and the Browns. If you guys haven't seen that, it's going to be premiering tomorrow morning. And then Madden prediction is going to be coming out on Friday. So a lot of content. Obviously, NFL season brings a lot of NFL content from me. And we're back at it, right? Follow me on X, follow me on Instagram, and follow me on TikTok. And if you guys found me there, awesome. Thanks so much. Shout out to each and every one of you. And later tonight, I'm going to be on Cowboys Can Fan because we're going to be doing our fantasy football again. Now, I had no idea what I was doing last season, but it helped me. I ended up going to the championship, ended up losing, but it was super fun. And so I'll be on there later at later tonight. TKG, our first comment of the night, says, "I'm excited for the season." Me too, man. And I talked about it in my pregame prediction video. I said, obviously, there's some people that are dissatisfied with where the Cowboys are at and what they're doing and what they're not doing. But nothing gets more exciting than seeing your favorite team play again and seeing football back on. My wife and I were talking about this, and football just means that fall weather is just right around the corner, and nothing beats that Sunday when the weather is cooler and you got football on, in the afternoon, in the morning, at night. Sunday night football hits differently. And then you got Monday night football. Football is just, it's what built America. People love football and we love watching and engaging and all that good stuff. But let's go and jump on in. Thank you so much for jumping in and watching tonight and hanging out during this live stream. But let's go ahead and jump into the week 1 slate here for the NFL schedule. Last season, I went a total of 172 and 101, and that, my friends, is pretty darn good. That's as good as it gets. So I have a hunch about what's going to be good, what's not going to be good, and what I feel like is going to be it. So we're going to go through each and every one of these games, and I want you guys to comment down below and let me know, who do you think is going to take this game? Who do you think is going to lose this game? And obviously, we'll talk about each and every one just a little bit. But, of course, we have our prime Thursday night football matchup, which in less than 24 hours, we will be seeing an NFL game with actual significance, with actual meaning. And we got the Baltimore Ravens going to Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Big time matchup, obviously an AFC Championship rematch. This is going to be a whole lot fun to watch, obviously with Lamar Jackson being MVP when someone else probably should have been MVP if you ask me. And then obviously got the reigning Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid. Really excited to see Xavier Worthy, which I think he's going to get a lot because they let go of Kadarius Toney, right? And then there was someone in chat tell me, but there was one wide receiver that's going to be sitting out due to injury. Can't remember the name off the top of my head, but he's not going to be playing this game. So Xavier Worthy, now's your time to shine. And if you guys remember during the draft, I was really high on Xavier Worthy, but we got 2 picks for trading back, and we got Tyler Guyton and we got Cooper Beebe. So I can't be mad about that. But here we go. Who do I think is going to win this game? Again, I want you guys to comment down below. Who do you think is going to win this game? I really actually like the Baltimore Ravens in this game. For some reason, this tends to happen. Like the Chiefs open up the season and the teams that they're playing, they usually, I don't know, they go all out to win this game and they make it their Super Bowl. They make it their big game of the year and they get super hyped over it. But like the Chiefs are like, this is game one. It doesn't matter if you win your first game. What matters is if you win your last game. And so I think the Ravens are going to surprise. I think people are going to overblow this and be like, oh my gosh, they upset the Chiefs. And it's game one. It really doesn't matter if it. Obviously, you want to win, but like if you lose, it's not the end of the world because there's going to be 16 other games to play. But I actually like the Baltimore Ravens here, so that would be something for the Chiefs to lose back-to-back season openers. They kicked off the season last year against the Lions in a really good game. But yeah, I like the Ravens here. I think the Ravens actually go on the road. And, obviously they got Derrick Henry, who's a big rushing attack, which I hope they use instead of running Lamar Jackson quite a bit. Not saying that Lamar is not effective, right? I mean, he's the MVP, but, when you go out and you spend good money on not Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, you should probably run him. So Vic comments down below said, I wanted Worthy too. I think he would have been such a great way. I mean, just imagine that, right? CeeDee Lamb, Xavier Worthy, Brandon Cooks, man. But regardless, with this game, I'm taking the Ravens. Comment down below who you're taking for the season kickoff game tomorrow night. I got the Ravens over the Chiefs. Now, Friday night. So we get Thursday games, Friday night games, and we got we got an international game that's going in Brazil. We got the Green Bay Packers, and we got the Philadelphia Eagles. If you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, you hate this matchup. You just hate both of these teams so much. Obviously for what the Green Bay Packers did, and obviously because the Philadelphia Eagles are the Philadelphia Eagles. This was a tough one. Again, I kind of I know the Packers stomped the Cowboys and all that. Blah, blah, blah. I get it. But like, I really don't believe the Packers are really a great team. I think they obviously got the best of us, and maybe I'm just still in denial, but like, they got the best of the Cowboys. The Cowboys had the better roster. They had the more all-pros, all of that. And, I just don't think they're a good team. Last year they went 9-8. I don't expect them to do any better. They most likely will claim that division just because by default. I mean, you got the who's in the NFC North? The Vikings, the Packers, the Lions, and the Bears. The Bears are going to be really fun to watch this year. Obviously, the Lions are a tough football team, so I would probably lean towards them winning the division. But like the Packers, I just don't think they have enough there to beat the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles are stacked with talent. Now, I don't think the Eagles are the real deal, and I said that all year last year. But I do think night one, the Eagles should best out the Green Bay Packers. TKG comment down below says Packers versus Eagles. Both teams can lose. Yes. If this game could end up in a tie, that would be incredible, and that would make me happy on a Friday night. So, yeah. Wish it could be a tie. I mean, they've tied before years ago. So I just don't think the Packers are better than the Eagles, and I think the Eagles should get this game. So, unfortunately, I'm taking the Eagles on that one. Vic says, I hate both teams, but go Pack, go, cry, Eagles, cry. All right, so you're going for the Pack. Okay, all right. I mean, that's a lose-lose for a Cowboys fan choosing in this matchup, and it's going to be important. Like, the season started, this is a matchup that both teams are going to look back at in December. Like, this is already playoff significance right here, especially with that Ravens and Chiefs games too. Like, they're not in the same division, but they're in the same conference. So when it comes to seeding and the amount of wins that you have against NFC East teams in your conference, like both these games, Thursday and Friday night, have playoff significance already because more than likely all four of those teams will be postseason contenders. They'll be fighting for a spot at the end of the season. So here we go. Now we go into the early slate of Sunday games. And again, comment down below who you're picking. We got the Panthers and the Saints here. The Saints obviously have Derek Carr. Carolina Panthers have Bryce Young and a new head coach. Look, I actually like the Carolina Panthers on the road in this matchup. I just think I'm a huge believer that, like, if you have a new coach, that kind of energy can carry you and actually win you a few games. Like, it's not going to win you a season, but it can actually win you a few games. And that type of energy can carry with a youthful team like the Carolina Panthers. Now, the New Orleans Saints really didn't move the bar anyway. They didn't move anything significant to become a contender in any way, especially in an NFC South where they can take it. So I actually like the Carolina Panthers here with an upset pick. Obviously didn't have the best year, but I like the Carolina Panthers taking this game and actually getting their first win of the season. TKG says, don't you mean, here we go? Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to take the Panthers over the Saints in that first matchup. And then we go back to the NFC East because we got our buddies, the New York Football Giants, taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Poor Vikings, man. Losing their quarterback for the season. JJ McCarthy was really, I don't know if he would have, had a rookie of the year kind of campaign, but like he's better than what they have right now, which is Sam Darnold. And you just really have to feel for the best wide receiver in the NFL, Justin Jefferson, not having another capable quarterback throwing him the ball. And, just keep your eyes on that situation, really. I mean, or the Minnesota Vikings got to make a move. I mean, if the Vikings want to make a move, I know a quarterback who's sitting in the third quarterback spot on a roster. His name's Trey Lance. If you want to make a move, I'd be happy. I'd give him over to you for like a second-round pick, But I do like the Giants in this situation. The Giants are at home. Now, I don't think the Giants are going to go far this year, but I'm going to take the Giants over the Vikings in week 1. Next matchup here, we got the Patriots and the Bengals. No Jamar Chase as of right now, Wednesday night. I mean, they're cutting it really close. I shouldn't say I should say them, like as in the Bengals not making this happen. But Jamar Chase, the offensive line still having issues, has been an issue for the Cincinnati Bengals for the past couple of years. Joe Burrow is back there. Now, the Patriots, again, they have that youthful energy that I was talking about, new head coach. So be on the alert. Like, I could actually see the Patriots taking this game. I just filmed my 60 seconds NFL picks, and I can't remember who I chose. But I actually may go with the Patriots here. On the road against the Bengals, where they lost Joe Mixon, where they don't have their number one wide receiver, and they're still having issues at the offensive line position, I'm going to take the Patriots over the Bengals in this one. TKG says, bye, Trey. Vikings, you can have them. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Patriots on the road over the Bengals. I could totally see that happen. Let me know, chat. Who do you got? Who do you got in this one? I mean, it could go both ways. And that Bengals team, if we're talking about teams missing the playoffs, like the Bengals could be that team missing the playoffs. I know it's week 1, but you look at that AFC North, super competitive, right? Bengals, Steelers, Browns, Ravens. I mean, all those teams have a legitimate shot. TKG says, I'm sad because I wanted CD and fantasy, but took Justin Jefferson. Oh, that's a crusher. We'll see what the Vikings do. Normally, teams will wait. I don't know why they do, but they'll wait a couple of weeks before making an adjustment or making a trade or getting someone in there. But I could see the Vikings, unless Sam Darnold just comes out and balls out. Yeah, that's a tough one, TKG. You got to take the L on that one. But maybe you could trade. Maybe you could trade with someone in your fantasy league and get Justin Jefferson off your roster. But I don't know. Maybe Justin Jefferson, maybe JJ still goes off. Who knows? But anyways, Steelers and Falcons. Russell Wilson is QB1 in Pittsburgh. And you got the Falcons, kind of new look, but you still got some really good young weapons with Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts. They have a pretty solid defense over there. So this one actually might be a little bit more competitive. I could see this game being low scoring. And I wouldn't be mad at you if you chose either one on this one. I could see it going either way, to be honest. But I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They just got consistency. They got Mike Tomlin as their head coach for another year. And I like Russell Wilson. I know people don't like Russell Wilson, but I like Russell Wilson's, and I'm cheering for him for that second chance there, or what is it, third chance? Yes, because it didn't work out in Denver, so it's going to work out in Pittsburgh. So I'm going to go with the Steelers here on this one over the Falcons winning on the road. Next up, this is a game that you want to circle. I'm telling you right now. TKG commented again, I won last season, so I don't care what happens this season. Hey, man. If you win in a fantasy league, that's a big thing. Like, you can hang that banner for the rest of your life. It's tough to win in a fantasy league. I made it to the championship. I ended up losing, but like it's tough to get there. It's a lot of luck in a lot of ways. But circle this game here: Houston Texans versus the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, you got the Texans: Stephon Diggs, C.J. Stroud, Joe Mixon now with the Texans. Great defense, great coach over there. Then you got the Colts. Anthony Richardson coming back from injury. I like Anthony Richardson. I'm a guy who likes Anthony Richardson, and I think if he can stay healthy, learn to slide, learn to not take hits when he's running the ball, I think he can have a really successful career. Now, their offensive line's not doing him any favors, but also Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman. This is going to be a very fun matchup, and this is probably one that I'm going to be tuning in more than all the other matchups here in this early slate. I think this is going to be a shootout. Like, I think this is going to be fun. Both teams going at it, both young quarterbacks throwing the ball. It's going to be going back and forth, but I think defense wins, and I think obviously the Houston Texans have a better defense at this point than the Colts. So give me the Texans over the Colts, but this game's going to be fun. If you got any of those players that I just mentioned, start them. Like, this is going to be a big game here between the Texans and the Colts. Next up, you got the Arizona Cardinals and the Buffalo Bills. Bills, obviously no Stephon Diggs. Okay. But they got some players, obviously with Josh Allen, Dalton Kincaid, and some other weapons there. And, Damar Hamlin making the start at safety for the first time since his injury that he sustained in that Bengals Monday night game. And then the Cardinals, this might be sneaky. Cardinals, Kyler Murray is back. You got Marvin Harrison Jr., James Conner is your running back. That defense is low-key sneaky. I think if this game was at Arizona, I would feel different, but it's in Buffalo. And I know it's not like December Buffalo, but it's still in Buffalo, and that's a tough environment to win in. If this game was in Arizona, I may actually be picking the Cardinals. But because it's in Buffalo, and, Cardinals are usually, they're used to that dry heat down in the desert. I mean, it might be nice up there in New York, in Buffalo. Might be a nice colder weather for them. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and stick with the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to stick with the Buffalo Bills. But that's not me saying that the Cardinals aren't going to make it competitive. I'm actually really excited to see what the Cardinals put on paper this year. Obviously, they still got Gannon over there as their head coach. And this is kind of their first shot because Kyler Murray wasn't healthy last year. So this is their first shot together, and I think it's going to be exciting stuff in Arizona. So keep an eye on Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. Of course, we'll talk about it week to week, but I'm going to go with the Bills here, winning at home against the Cardinals. So here we go. 2 more games left in this early slate. You have the Tennessee Titans and the Chicago Bears. Very interesting matchup here. Obviously, you got the Chicago Bears, and I saw this weird stat out there that says, like, number one draft pick quarterbacks are like 0-14 and 1 tie in their first start, which is crazy. That's a crazy stat. And then you got the Tennessee Titans, who always fly under the radar. Obviously, new head coach Mike Vrabel's out of the picture, but that defense is sneaky. That Tennessee Titans defense is going to be good come wintertime. Come cold weather, that Tennessee Titans team is going to they're going to be a wall. I like a lot of the additions that they made on their defense. And obviously, TP20, Tony Pollard, went over to the Tennessee Titans. So that's going to really help that running attack. So it's going to be really interesting what the Titans do. I still have question marks at the quarterback position. So this one's going to be an interesting game. I'm thinking maybe low scoring still again. Now the Chicago Bears loaded up on offense. Again, I just made my 60-second picks, and I can't remember who I chose for this because I could see the Titans winning. No, you know what? I think I went with Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. I went with the Bears, and I think the Bears are going to win their first game of the season, and Caleb Williams is going to make a lot of hype here. He's going to win his first game as a pro. TKG says, miss him, but I hope Tony Pollard has a good season. I agree, too, and I think he will, honestly. I think Pollard was coming into himself later in the season, obviously having a late start due to his injury. But I actually think he's going to have a good season. And I wish nothing but the best for him. I understand the situation. Like, Pollard went to college in Memphis. And so to have the opportunity to make more money than what the Cowboys were going to pay him and go back to Tennessee and be near home where he went to college, that's an A1 situation for Tony Pollard. So nothing but the best wishes for Tony Pollard. I hope he balls out this year and just has a Pro Bowl season, has a great season. But I am going to choose the Bears to win this game against the Titans. Last early slot here, you got the Jaguars and the Miami Dolphins. Really tough matchup here in the AFC. It's going to be really interesting to see the Jaguars pick up their pieces here. And Trevor Lawrence, that switch needs to happen. I mean, he's been in the NFL for quite a bit. So something's got to switch. Like, he's got to turn it on and really become one of the top 10 quarterbacks. Because he's not a top 10 quarterback yet. I mean, he's in the top 16, like the top half of the league. But something's got to click for him to really make this Jacksonville team stand out. Now, on the other hand, the Miami Dolphins are loaded. Just gave McDaniels a contract extension. Obviously got Tyreek Hill, number one player in the NFL, voted by his peers. Tua Tagovailoa, great running attack. You got Mostert, you got Devin Akane. A lot of loaded weapons here. So for me, this is kind of an easy pick. I think the Miami Dolphins are going to win this game. But keep your eye on that Trevor Lawrence situation right there, because it's going to be interesting to see what they do in the upcoming years, because it feels like he's good talent, but he's kind of just good enough. He's not making that next step. Hopefully this is the next step for him. But anyways, our next slate of games, we're going into the afternoon. Thanks again for everyone hanging out and chatting and making this a really fun, easygoing Wednesday night. We're going to be here every Wednesday making our picks as the weeks go on. And so here we go. We have a NFC West showdown, or totally wrong. Totally wrong. Totally different divisions. I don't know why I said that. But you got the Broncos and the Seahawks. Totally different conferences. Don't pay attention to what I just said. But you got the Broncos, new quarterback, right? You got Knicks. You got Sean Payton still in Denver. No Jerry Jeudy. He went over to Cleveland. A lot of changes in Denver. And then you got the Seahawks. Changes as well, right? No Pete Carroll. So a lot. And I said this in my pregame prediction video with the Cowboys and the Browns that's coming out tomorrow. But week one is so tough because there's just no data. Like, there's no data, no stats, nothing to give you any kind of substance to make an educated guess on who's going to win these games, because a lot of these teams are never going to be this healthy as they are in week one. And a lot of these teams have new systems, new coordinators. It's a lot of newness in week one. So it can be unpredictable, if anything. Like, you could show something in week one that you never show for the rest of the season because there's maybe an element of surprise in there. So this one's a tough one for me. But I'm actually going to go with the Denver Broncos. I think the Broncos get a win, and they get they get a win in this Knicks era. And they get the win over the Seattle Seahawks, who, they have a good defense, but, I think the Broncos win on the road here in Seattle. Next up, I think might just be the easiest pick in this slate of games in week one. And it's this Las Vegas Raiders versus the Los Angeles Chargers. This is going to be in Los Angeles. You better believe the Raiders Nation is going to be taking over that SoFi Stadium. But I like Harbaugh winning his first game back as an NFL head coach with Justin Herbert. I think the Chargers take care of the Raiders easily here. Even though Antonio Pierce had a very strong closing to the season last year, I just think the Chargers are better. And so I'm going to take the Chargers over the Raiders, which I feel like was just kind of the easiest pick of this week. Next up, obviously, you got the game of the week. And if you want to hear me talk about it more in depth, tune in tomorrow morning as I break down this entire game, offense and defense, predictions, everything like that. But you got the Cowboys and the Browns. I think this is going to be a shootout more than anything. I think defense toss it out the window. I think it's Dak versus Deshaun, and I think it's going to be electric. Tom Brady's first broadcast, it's going to be electric, and everyone's going to be watching. But I actually do believe that the Cowboys are going to come out on top and win this game, which is hard to say because in my season prediction video that I made back in March, I chose the Browns to win because I was still mad at the Cowboys, and I'm still mad at the Cowboys. But and I think stats and everything say that the Browns should win tomorrow because they're so good at home. They were 8-1 last season. They have a really good defense, something that could stop our offense. And they have a lot of offensive weapons with Jerry Jeudy and Njoku, Deshaun Watson, no Nick Chubb, Amari Cooper. But I just really think the Cowboys offense is that good. And I actually have a lot of confidence in our offense to get the job done on Sunday. It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be crazy. You're going to be biting your nails, but hold on. Hold on. I think the Cowboys get a win in week 1. Here we go. We got the Washington Commanders and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the last of this afternoon slot. Dan Quinn, new head coach in Washington, D.C. Jaden Daniels, former LSU quarterback, now the starting quarterback of the Washington Commanders. Look, I think this one's pretty simple. I actually think DQ gets his first win as the Commanders head coach, and I think Jaden Daniels gets his first win as a as a quarterback in the National Football League. Cliff Kingsbury is also your offensive coordinator, and your defensive coordinator is Joe Witt Jr., formerly with the Dallas Cowboys. I think on paper, the Washington Commanders can make a lot of noise this year. I'm going to try to keep quiet about them because I don't really want to see them be very successful. But I do think they get their win here against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they get that first win of the season. So if we're going by my math, I think every team in the NFC East wins in week 1. But here we go. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. Let's go to our prime time slots. Sunday Night Football, you got a playoff rematch between the Los Angeles Rams and the Detroit Lions. Matthew Stafford going back to Detroit. Is it going to end any different than it did in the playoffs? Probably not. I actually think I think the Detroit Lions win this game. And the Lions are just better, really. They're so well-rounded. Their run game is really premier, and it's the one thing that's really carrying. I mean, it carried them to this NFC Championship game. And Goff, is kind of he's a smart quarterback. He's not going to do too much for you. He's not going to do too little. He's kind of great for the system that they have right there. And St. Brown is such a great wide receiver. Now, I know the Rams have Kyron Williams. They got Stafford. They got Cooper Kupp. But, I'm still going to go with the Lions winning at home, taking down the Rams on Sunday Night Football. Now, here we go. Week 1 comes to an end. Monday Night Football. This is such a great matchup, and I cannot wait to see it. And I hope Aaron Rodgers plays more than 2 snaps on this Monday night game. But you got the New York Jets going to California to take on the San Francisco 49ers. Now, history tells us that Aaron Rodgers versus the 49ers never works out. Aaron Rodgers always loses to the 49ers in crunch time, in spotlight moments, in the postseason. So this one's going to be interesting. Now, obviously, the 49ers had a little bit of, off-season drama. Brandon Ayuk, Trent Williams, the list goes on, right? So, but I actually like the Jets here, and I'm cheering for the Jets to make some noise this year. I kind of want to see that unfold really well for them. I want to see it come out for them on the good end. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Jets. That would be so great to see them make some noise in week 1 and finally get a win with Aaron Rodgers and take down a pretty premier team like the 49ers, because the 49ers have business that they have to finish, and that's going to the Super Bowl and actually winning a Super Bowl, which, by the way, everyone clowns the Cowboys for not making it to the NFC Championship game since 95. But let's talk about the 49ers not winning a Super Bowl since the 90s as well. Like, I know they've been there, but, they're still in the same boat as the Cowboys where they haven't won a Super Bowl since the 90s. I get it. They've been there. They've actually been to the game multiple times. But still, mention the 49ers when you're talking about the Cowboys and keep it at the same audacity. But nonetheless, I got the Jets beating the 49ers on Monday Night Football. And there we go. That is our Week 1 NFL picks live. We finished it, and it was a lot of fun. And we're going to be doing this. And this is the full slate. Once we get bye weeks going, the schedule is going to look smaller. But be sure to tune in every Wednesday. I'm going to sit here with you guys. We're going to talk about every matchup, and we're going to keep up to speed. And, of course, when December comes around, I'm sure we're going to be talking playoff pictures, playoff predictions. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I really like hanging out with you guys live. I like this time where we just get to hang out because it means I don't have to edit or do anything like that. It just means I love pulling up the chat here and just chatting with you guys and going one by one and hanging out with you guys. But other than that, like I said, we got the pregame prediction video for the Cowboys and Browns coming out tomorrow. We got the Madden prediction coming out on Friday. And then, of course, we have Sunday football, Cowboys and Browns, and I will see you guys then for the post-game reaction video. But be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow for our pregame prediction video.